welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our fifth episode of That's My Story. If this is your first time joining us, I'd just like to reiterate that That's My Story is a platform that we utilize to bring on some of your favorite artists, producers, musicians, and allow them to tell the story of their musical journey. We hope everyone is quarantining safely and everybody is well. Before we get started, though, I want to introduce to you my co-host. First of all, I'm Midas, co-hosting along with Mr. Brandon Stevens and the legendary Ken Knox. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, y'all all right? Y'all good?
Oh, yeah, man, can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of storms and all that stuff, and I hope none of us get kicked off because there's a lot of storms in the area.
Yeah.
And I see we got friends tuning in so far, you guys.
Yeah, okay. And thank you guys all over the globe for tuning in weekly. We had some storms in the area, and I was telling the guys early this morning I had some little minor Wi-Fi issues, but we got all of that hopefully figured out. But we're gonna press on and do what we do as usual.
Hello to the listeners. There's JR, Karen McBride, Carlo Didcott. Got a lot of the UK tuning in for Mr. Melvin Davis.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Who else we got here? Dave Blackwell. There you go.
Yeah, we'll give a moment for a few shout outs. We got I see JR Bullock is in the house.
Yes.
What's up, buddy?
JR said he's infected with chairman withdrawals.
We are too, buddy. We in withdrawals from all of our friends. You know what I'm saying? We miss you guys.
Well, you know what?
Being on the stage.
Neil Dugan says he's awake.
Neil Dugan, you made it. What's up, buddy?
You made it. Yeah.
Over in the UK. All right, man. All right. Well, I'm sure you, Miss Crystal Stewart is on. So yeah. I'm sure you guys have seen our flyer for the week, and we have a special guest today. Ken, would you like to introduce him?
Absolutely. I like to introduce my friend, Mr. Melvin Davis, the Detroit Soul Ambassador. There he is.
Yeah, singer, songwriter, drummer, band leader, pianist, guitarist, all of these things. How you doing, Mr. Melvin Davis?
Oh, you guys are just being too kind. You're making me feel like somebody.
Yeah, frozen him.
And I'd like to say hello to the wonderful listening audience. And I know there's got to be some people out there that are wondering who the hell is Melvin Davis. Nah. So I want to thank Ken and Midas and Brandon for inviting me on so that I have an opportunity to introduce myself.
Absolutely. There's a lot of fans from the UK and there's the Netherlands. Rosita, Shakila. Brandon gonna talk about me because I always throw this accent on.
So, I think I got frozen.
I'm frozen.
I think I was frozen for a moment. Call me Elsa.
Okay.
We back though. We back.
Edwards Beckham. So Melvin, there's a lot of people know who you are. You know, what we want to do. People know who Melvin Davis is, but we want to know who Melvin Davis really is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive. So, I need to find out. You know. How did you get started and what was your inspirations?
Well, my inspiration probably, I was born in Millersville, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And I came to Detroit when I was 3 years old. But my grandparents had a 300-acre farm, so naturally we would go back 3 or 4 times a year. And it just so happens that there was a juke joint in the woods called Shady Rest.
Okay.
It was about less than a quarter of a mile from our house.
Okay.
And some of the artists, this was like back in 1952, 53. I was just a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the artists that used to come through there were like Little Richard and the Upsetters, James Brown and his band. And I mean, this is when they were young in their heyday.
Nice.
You could hear Little Richard screaming for at least 5 miles. I would be sitting on the back porch just trembling, listening to the Upsetters playing that rock and roll.
Uh-huh.
Then my grandfather was a great harmonica player. He was a farmer, but he was very talented because back in those days, you know, you didn't have the internet. The radio that we had was a battery radio.
Mm-hmm.
So back in those days, people entertained themselves. You'd be sitting around the fireplace because the farm that we had had no electricity, no running water. So they had to work hard from sunup to sundown to make that situation work. But it was really an unbelievable family feeling that I developed because of the way that I was raised and the people that raised me. And my great-grandfather was the founder of Rock Mill Baptist Church.
Okay.
Which was the first Baptist church in Milledgeville, and it was the mother church of at least 8 or 9 other churches around there. So I come from a very spiritual family.
That's great stuff.
Music has always been in me, but it was revealed to me as I grew up and lived my life. So when I came to Detroit, and Detroit was going through an amazing, phenomenal change. It was a time of great opportunity because of the factories, and a lot of people came from the South to begin their lives and to make a good life for their families. And there was just an energy because of about the Jim Crow stuff and all that stuff in the South. There was a new freedom in Detroit. The schools were integrated. You had a job. You got a level of respect. So naturally, the music always reflects life. So the music that I got involved in was reflecting the times, which were a very, very energized time for Detroit. Just like you realize that rhythm and blues and black music started with blues. But blues wasn't a sad music. Blues was being played because that's how we released the pain. It wasn't absorbing the pain. They'd sing these blues songs and feel better. And people like to praise the rhythm and blues market because it's become one of the best venues on planet Earth. But what it really came from was a little harmonica or a dude with a 3-string guitar sitting on the back porch, not making a dime, trying to ease his pain from picking cotton all day.
Therapy.
So it's a real thing, and that's why the music has created such a unusual, phenomenal response from all over the world because of the humanity that's in it. It's so honest. But to get to me coming to Detroit. And becoming involved in the record industry, I could go through a lot of stuff. I was always a great dancer. I always had I could ham bone my ass off. I'll do it for you right now. But I was blessed with a great sense of rhythm.
Awesome.
And as I grow older, I look back after becoming a drummer and all that stuff. I realized when I was dancing at the Greystone in the 20 grand, I was playing drums. I was playing drums.
Oh, as you were dancing.
I was one of the better dancers in the city of Detroit. Not bragging now, but I was the king of the Hully Gully.
So you're equating your dancing to playing drums, like coinciding.
Absolutely.
Okay,
because
gotcha.
when you listen to music right now, certain things like
make your body react a certain way.
Makes your body react, exactly. Yeah. It's the upbeats, it's the accents, it's the you gonna do something on that beat right there if that's in the record.
Right.
So
that's interesting.
It is. I never looked at it like that until I got older.
Me either.
Start reflecting
Gotcha.
on different aspects of my life. But I'll be 78 this year, so I like to think that I've learned a few things, and I like
man. Awesome.
To believe that I reflect.
That's awesome, man.
But my involvement in music was I joined the Navy when I was 17.
Okay.
And I had taken a couple of piano lessons, and I hated it because they were giving me those notes. Every good boy does fine. So I put it down, and I was never interested in it. But when I was in the Navy, this guy played a couple of chords that turned me on. Because see, notes meant nothing to me. Chords meant everything because I wanted to write a song. You don't write a song off of notes. Of course, being 17, I didn't realize that.
Right.
But after I learned these 4 little chords, that little there have been 50 million songs written to those 4 chords.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that's what got me started playing piano. And of course, I was sort of self-taught from that because the energy was just what really locked me in. And as I grew older, day by day, the music just pulled me in further and further and further. And I like to say this, I've done a lot of music, but music has done a lot of Melvin.
Oh, man.
I would not be this Melvin Davis without music.
That's very true.
If I was going to write a song about my feelings about music, the first lines would say, all of my life, music has been my pride and joy, and my very best friend.
Ah,
nice.
I like it.
Nice.
So, wow. So were you I heard you say just now you went into the Navy at age 17. Were you already playing drums at that time?
No. I wasn't playing anything at that time. While I was in the Navy, this guy was a decent piano player, and he showed me these chords, and that started me. And then I was only in the Navy for about 7 months because they gave me these shots, so I have a medical honorable discharge. But actually, that's one of those instances where God saved my life, because I probably would have been in Vietnam, and being 6'6", I probably would have been the first target they looked at.
Oh man! I was trying to guess your height earlier. We were looking at some of the videos. I think we guessed around 6'5". So you're 6'6".
6'6", yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So you could have played basketball also if you chose to.
I tried to play a little bit, but I was too light.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, like for instance, I think I was supposed to be short because I wear a size 9.5 shoe. So I'm 6'6". So like when I run up again, I weigh about 130 pounds soaking wet. So when I was in high school, I could shoot real well.
I got you.
When it comes to running up against them 240-pound guys, I realized that wasn't really for me.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. That's awesome, man.
Speaking of high school, what high school did you go to in Detroit?
I went to Pershing, and then I graduated from Mumford.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Mumford turned out a lot of talent. I think Earl Klugh came from there. Willie Wooten. And you know what? I think Allie Willis, the girl who wrote September.
Yeah.
He came from.
I don't know, but didn't she just pass? I think she just passed, didn't she?
We got a picture also, I think, of that.
I think of her. A picture of you and her.
Yeah, we got a picture.
Yeah, because that was at the Detroit Music Awards, where they gave me a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I appreciate that so much. I want to thank Gary Graff and his crew for recognizing my efforts, because I've written 600 songs, and I've written for many artists, and I've written on many labels, and I had my own record label since 1971. I've been a BMI writer since 1960. Nice. So. I'm not going to be able to tell my whole story because it would take like 3 or 4 weeks. But to get back to how it started, in 1961, that's when I had my very first record out. And it was on a little label. The name of the label was Jackpot. And it was owned by Warren Quates. And this was the first record that he put out. I'll tell you, he had 2 artists. That was Geno Washington and myself. And I cut a song called About Love, and the other side was I Don't Want You. And it was released on Jackpot. And I was so excited to hear, back in the day, Ernie Durham, Ernie Durham was one of the greatest jockeys I've ever known. He could sell your record. He'd get the beating on that desk. That's something else I want to talk about. It's like everybody knows what happened in the city of Detroit. But how it happened and why it happened has never really been brought out. Because you see, without these great DJs, without these great music fans, without the DJs, how would they ever hear your music?
Very true. You need the DJ.
Then it was the energy of Detroit. People had money. Every little club had a band. They didn't have DJs back then. They had some sometimes, but mostly they had like 1, 2, 3, 4-piece bands.
Right, on every
and people had money because they had good jobs.
Right.
So it was the energy and the spirit of the city and the creativity of the city and the innovation that this great music mecca, that's what brought us to where we are. And that's why we have the track record that we do. I call Detroit the headquarters of rhythm and blues because no other city on this planet has recorded as many rhythm and blues songs.
Yeah, that's a great perspective.
If I can say, your friend Tony Newton says hello to you.
Tony Newton and I go practically all the way back. Tony Newton was also a member of the Jaywalkers, one of the original members when David Ruffin was in the group.
Matter of fact, I think we have a picture of you and who else was in that band?
Yeah, who else was in that band?
Tony Newton was in the band. He was playing saxophone. I know he doesn't want me to mention this very much because he became one of the best bass players on planet Earth. But at that time, Tony Newton was a really good sax player.
I think we have a picture.
I think we put it up already.
No.
Here we go.
There we
Jaywalkers.
Wow, that is a picture of the Jaywalkers.
Who's the guy on the floor?
The guy sitting on the floor is David Ruffin.
David Ruffin.
David Ruffin was a member of the Jaywalkers for a couple of years before the Temptations, and he went on to become, well, everybody knows, one of the most famous voices on planet Earth.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's
yeah.
awesome. So how
also Reuben Fisher was a member of the. We were crazy. I had a '61 Chevy.
All right.
And I would put my suit on in the daytime, walk into a club, and say, "You got a really nice establishment here. You know what you need? Some excitement. I can provide that for you." And we did. We traveled all over Michigan. We went to Muskegon. We went to ski resorts, Nub's Knob. We played at the place called the Ponytail in the Upper Peninsula. Yeah. There was 5 of us, all of our instruments and all of our clothes in a '61 Chevy doing 110 miles an hour on ice every weekend going to Ponytail.
Wow. And this is with the Jaywalkers?
Pardon me?
Was that with the Jaywalkers?
That was with the Jaywalkers,
okay, man, awesome.
We were an acrobatic band.
Yeah.
We jump up the stage, land in the splits. I mean, I wish I had some film of that.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Really a remarkable time. Yeah,
that would be amazing.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I think our friend Danny Woods was also not in the Jaywalkers, but you, David Ruffin, and Danny. Did you guys have some things together?
I used to book shows in Muskegon at a place called the Ebony Club. And as a matter of fact, let me tell the story how I started playing drums. The first time, there's an artist named Cornell Blakely back in the day. And he had a tune out called I Got the Blues. And I was playing a little bit of piano, and their piano player had a really good job at Hudson, so he couldn't make the gig. So I went up to Muskegon with them for 2 weeks, and the club was out in the woods, and they had the rooms for us to stay upstairs. So during the day, we could come downstairs while the bar was closed. I was playing piano, and I was watching the drummer. And I knew I was a great dancer, and I had a great sense of rhythm. And I was looking at what he was doing, and I was saying, little blues song. I'm going like, I can do that. Cornell and the drummer got in a physical fist fight.
What led to that?
I asked Cornell, I said, well, who's going to play the drums? Cornell says, you are. We went to town because we were outside of town. We were in the Heights. Rented me a set of drums, and I've been playing drums ever since.
Wow. So that's you just got it.
I started playing drums accidentally.
So and you just got it like that once you sat on the throne, as they say.
Yeah, it was. Wow. It came rather naturally to me, and then I was inspired by some really good drummers like George Davidson, who played on my very first record About Love at the Jackpot label. And I watched him, and he had fast hands, and I was amazed. I watched what he did. Then, of course, the great Motown drummers, Pistol Allen, Benny Benjamin, Yule. I mean, these guys were great. So, you know, you watch, and if you have the ability, you can do it on your own. All you have to do, you don't have to necessarily be, because I've never taken lessons on anything. I'm not saying that I'm proud of that, but if I had taken lessons, I have learned that there's a difference between a trained musician and a musician that trains themselves. They're a little bit more creative. When you taught yourself, you have that creative element that you don't get from learning what someone else has written down. You can, but I'm saying there's an element of creativity that you will have that a learned musician might not have. They can understand what you're doing and do it probably better than you, but they can't necessarily originate it and actually create it.
Yeah, I never heard it put like that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Well,
and it's good both ways, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but I just, you know, I mean, I'd like to examine things and just see what the difference in, you know, in different techniques and different paths, what they should mean. Yeah.
We got a comment up here. Let's see. Cornell Blakely, like the radio DJ in Greenville.
That's him.
Okay.
He's not dead. Cornell is dead.
Ooh. Okay. Well, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just reminiscing on the fact that was one of the DJs in Greenville at a certain period.
Here's another question from Tony. Tony Newton says, what was the name of the club on 8 Mile?
Oh, you're talking about the Glen Lodge. Only he would be the one to call in and bring that up. That was one of our we played a lot of weekends at the Glen Lodge. We put on shows, our own shows, where we would have 2 or 3 artists on the show, a dancer, a comedian.
Yeah.
And Rip Roberts was one of the comedians. He's passed away too, but
okay.
These are we're talking about some of the people that really have sort of made Melvin Davis the person that he is, because these are the people that inspired me. These are the people that I learned from, and that people that we just exchanged our energy. One thing about the Jaywalkers, everybody in that group had just an unbelievable desire and a love for the music. And if people are listening in, if you want to do something, if you have a real desire for it, you will become as good as you can be. But if you're doing it it depends on your motivation. You know what motivates you,
Yeah.
But if you're doing it like the reason that I do it, just to see what Melvin Davis can do. It's not that money's not on my list, it's just that it's not at the top of my priorities. And whatever your motivation is, whether it's girls, whether it's money, whether it's self-recognition, just to know who you are, the one ingredient that we all need is opportunity. And Detroit provided that in abundance.
Wow.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I was inspired by you, Tony Newton. See, every musician wanted to be like yourself, Tony, McKinley, who else? I mean, Ray Parker,
heavy hitters.
See, you're revealing that element of the chain that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Right. Everyone learns and is inspired by someone else.
Right.
Whoever that might be. So these are your heroes. So
right.
You look at what they do and you admire it, and that inspires you to want to be the best that you can be at that. You don't want to necessarily sound like them. You want to see what you sound like. Right. And to see if you can make that something that has value and that people will value.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think drives most of us, whether it's money involved or not, we still want to be appreciated. So we try to put forth our best effort.
I agree with that.
That's a very spiritual thing.
Yes.
Is one of your first songs called I Must Love You?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that was my first #1 record.
Okay.
At that time, I had been with 3 or 4 labels. I had been with Jackpot. I was with Fortune Records when they had Nolan Strong and the Diablos. I was there when they cut Mind Over Matter. Nathaniel Mayer was there. I was there when he cut Village of Love. Yeah. And then after that, I went to with Mike Hanks. If you guys might be familiar with D-Town Records. And he had Lee Rogers, D. Edwards, the Fabulous Peps, Cody Black, but I mean, you can look up some of this stuff. You can't tell the whole thing.
Yeah, it's rich history right here.
That's how I came up. Those names you're talking about, that's how I came up. That was that was it. I think we have a clip from you
from that particular song, I Must Love You.
This was I Must Love You.
Met you were just another girl, oh yeah. And it took some time for me to realize you were different from the other girls, oh yeah. But when you stayed on my mind constantly, it didn't take too long for me to see. Now this feeling inside me keeps on driving me. I must love you. Honey, I must love you, yeah. Darling, I said I love you.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something about that song, Melvin. I think we went ahead and started the video. We kind of cut you off a little bit.
That was recorded in 1965. I was on the Groovesville label, which was a subsidiary or a division of Golden World.
Okay.
That was my wonderful accompaniment, the Rock Mill Rhythm and Blues Band, and of course directed by the fabulous McKinley Jackson. I'm fortunate enough to have him.
Absolutely.
And,
I saw McKinley on there, and I saw Drew Schultz.
Our friend Drew Schultz.
Yeah.
He's a friend of the show.
Great percussionist, drummer, writer, producer, wonderful guitar player, Matt Thibodeau, great drummer, Todd Boschma, bass player with Dave Ersick, and of course the 313 horns. Great group of guys, and they are responsible for making me sound good on these shows that I'm doing now.
Ricardo from UK said, "What a track!" And hey, McKinley will be coming on in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, and Drew.
Yeah. Okay. Looking forward to that, man.
Well, McKinley's got some amazing stories to tell, because I would have to say that he's probably one of the greatest producers to ever come out of the city of Detroit.
This comment made me laugh. I'm sorry. It says, dude, if you never made it as a singer, you definitely would have made it to the NBA. Wow. We talked about that a little bit.
I don't think so. Those guys would step on my foot and give me brain damage for life.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, Brandon, you got something?
Brandon, he might not. Can you hear us?
I'm just looking through the comments here, but
okay.
Yeah. Can y'all not hear me?
No, we good. We good. I didn't know if you can hear us. All right, good.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. I see Mr. Charles
Melvin, I'd like to hear.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, Melvin. Yeah, I'd like to hear about how you got started with the Eighth Day group in Invictus Records.
Actually, the Eighth Day was a strange situation because at the time I was a Motown staff drummer, but I was Smokey Robinson's personal drummer.
On tour?
I would have to thank Tony Newton for getting me that gig, because for some reason Spike, which was a drummer that was playing for Smokey and the Miracles at that time, and he was struggling a little bit, but he didn't have a lot of energy. I'll put it nicely. But Tony really wanted me to be in the group that traveled with the Miracles.
Okay.
But they wanted someone that could read, and I didn't read. So Tony gave me a tape.
Me too.
Tony gave me a tape of the show. And if it's one thing I've always had, is an amazing memory. I sat up that night, I listened to the tape about 3 or 4 times, and I went to the audition the next day, and I was turning the pages and playing every song perfect, but I remembered it.
Man, I did that.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, I went out with other acts, and I would memorize their shows. Like we did a lot of shows with Martha and the Vandellas. We did shows with the Supremes. We did shows with the Originals. So we were fortunate because we were on salary, but because Smokey was vice president of a thriving company, they didn't do a whole lot of gigs. Sometimes they would be off for like 6 weeks, but we would still get paid every week.
Oh, awesome.
And we could go out with other artists.
Oh, okay.
So while we had this downtime, we started putting together our own group.
Okay.
And then while I was out on the road, I got a call from Ron Dunbar.
Oh, yeah.
To come down to HDH and dub in some songs. And Crawl Before You Walk was one of them.
And HDH, that would be Holland, Dozier, and Holland.
Okay. Holland, the fabulous writing trio of Holland, Dozier, and Holland.
Wow.
And they loved it. And the first thing I knew, because see what it was on 8th Day, they had a record out on 8th Day called She's Not Just Another Woman.
Yes.
That was being sung by my good friend, Steve Manchett, who's also Clyde Wilson.
Absolutely.
Clyde Wilson was the lead singer of a group called 100 Proof.
Okay.
They had a hit record out called Somebody's Been Sleeping in My Bed.
Yes.
So rather than have She's Not Just Another Woman compete with Somebody's Been Sleeping in My Bed, they just put She's Not out under the name 8th Day. There was no 8th Day.
Oh, okay.
So then they had to hurry up and make an 8th Day.
Oh,
so that
okay.
was how I got my opportunity to become lead singer for the 8th Day.
So the 8th Day was a name, and then once the record was out and they needed some people to perform the record, then they formed a band after the record was made.
Wow.
Exactly. After the record was made, then they needed a group, and that's when Tony and I got together, and we all three, Tony Newton, Jerry Paul, and myself, the three of us left the Miracles and put the group 8th Day group together.
Okay.
And that's how that happened.
And one of those songs was "Crawl Before You Walk," correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think we have a clip or something of that.
Something.
As the days went by, I needed her love much more than I knew. So I begged for forgiveness and asked her what I had to do. She said, break down. You got too much pride for one man. So I swallowed my pride. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I broke down on my left knee. And I kind of looked around to see if anybody was looking. And I broke down on my right knee. And you know what I did? I crawled. Yes, I did. Back into my baby's arms. Ooh, I crawled like a baby. Back into my baby's arms. One day your baby might say you got to crawl before you walk back into these arms of mine. 'Cause my baby told me you got to crawl before you walk back into these arms of mine. That's what you said, people. Crawl.
Yeah.
That brought back a lot of
I love that
memories.
song.
Yeah, man, that took me home. Detroit.
Yeah, and it's got a churchy feel to it too a little bit, you know, even though it's soul and R&B, it's got a little. It reminds me of church a little bit.
Did Ronnie Dunbar wrote that?
I think so. Yeah, Ron Dunbar was responsible for the production of that, so I'm pretty sure that he wrote it.
Man, come on. Yeah, I mean that took me home, you know. And I'm
That
sure
was a very popular record. As a matter of fact, they had a dance called The Crawl.
Oh, really?
And I'll never forget a gig that we did in Jackson, Mississippi at the Jackson University. We had to sing that song 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Wow, back to back?
The whole audience was up on the floor doing that dance.
Four times back to back?
4 times back to back.
Oh,
They would not let us off the stage. It was number one. It was number one song in that city at that time, and we hit that city at just the right time. It was a tremendous gig.
And you know that was back in there it is, 8th Day, man.
All right,
yeah.
There we go.
As a matter of fact, the young lady over on the right, Carol Stallings, I spoke with her about a week ago.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And that's Tony up in the front with the bullets on, right?
Yeah, that's a shotgun man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know,
we did a few gigs where he needed those bullets.
I
We
can
had a couple
imagine.
promoters that didn't want to pay, and all of us had to go in the doggone office and make sure that we took care of business.
Man.
you know,
I could imagine some of those dealings back in the day, you know?
and that's I'm glad you brought it up because I'm not sure Brandon and Midas have ever. Well, I think they come close to experience that, but you know that is the way of life almost for entertainers. You know, you got to go in that office, or the man and he done went out the back.
Yeah.
You know, and they say, oh, he's coming back. He just went to get his car.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
It happens. It happens.
You on something like that about.
It happens quite a bit, actually. You know, like As a matter of fact, when Tony and myself and David were in the Jaywalkers, just to give you one of my early examples,
Okay.
at the Club Ponytail, we were doing weekends up there, and it was really successful. And it came to a Christmas, and he wanted to do 6 straight days.
Mm-hmm.
So we went up and did the 6 straight days. And then his wife, we were all excited about the money because we were going to make pretty good money.
Right.
So then his name was Stan Douglas. Stan Douglas, wherever you are, you owe me $400, you asshole. But he had his wife give me an envelope. And being, Stan young,
Douglas.
Yeah.
It was sealed. I get back and I'm getting ready to pay everybody off. And I go, June, this is $400 short. Well, it was all in there. It was all in there. One of them deals. You know what I mean? I never did get that money, but that's just one example. It starts early.
Yeah.
And sometimes you really have to go to the mat in order to get your money,
Yeah.
I think that's the same way it is with record labels and with this whole music situation.
It smartens you up.
Yeah, but I mean, I know everybody has those stories. That's why I don't like to spend a lot of time talking about what I didn't get.
Right.
When we could spend this great time talking about the things that we did get.
Yeah, true.
True. Which is one of the greatest experiences of my life, is being able to participate in the music industry. Right, I love the music. The business I could do without.
Okay.
But the music has brought me. I can't even describe what it's meant to my life.
Right. We got Miss Debbie McFadder, the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame chairwoman, is on.
And the daughter of Clyde McFadder.
Yeah, so just want to acknowledge her.
Yeah, she
was another question.
Yeah.
I'd like to know. Yeah. One of my favorite voices early.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Clyde McFadder, D. Clark. I just admired those guys.
Yeah, she'll be on next Thursday. But
okay.
Give her my best.
Can you talk about the record industry?
Well, the record industry is a beast. And I mean, I understand it, I accept it, but it's extremely competitive. And Detroit was one of the more competitive cities on planet Earth. And I think that's why I've written some really great songs, but I think that the reason that I didn't have more success monetarily is because of the competition. Anytime you have opportunity in abundance and then an opportunity to make a lot of money, you're going to have a lot of competition. I have nothing against competition because I've learned that competition breeds excellence.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just when you start to employ these unscrupulous, unnecessary tactics, and you're going to have a lot of that backstabbing and lying and stealing and cheating and, I mean, when you're doing something creative, everything's fine until the success starts to come. Then you're going to find out what type of people you're really with. Well, what's my part? I didn't get it. You get a lot of, you find out that, like, when you get where you think you want to go, you realize that it's not where you thought it was. So it all comes together because it's all a part of the reality of it. So you have to accept it. But there have been a lot of disappointments and a lot of heartaches in my journey. But it taught me something that I share. As a matter of fact, I was in Flint and I was doing a little seminar. And there was this young kid and he said, Melvin, when you're trying your best to put something together and you're calling rehearsals and, people don't show up and they don't do what they're supposed to do. And I could feel him. He was about to cry. And I said, you know what? Let me get off this stage. When I come down there, I want to talk to you. And I had something to say to him because I listened to the voice inside of me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And what it told me to say to him was, learn to embrace your pain. Because your relief is on the other side.
All right.
And how you go through that pain will determine what type of success, what will happen to you on the other. See, I don't use anger. Some people can use anger as a motivator. I would rather accept the pain and go ahead and hurt, because then you can release it. Anger sort of locks it in.
Yeah.
If that's what works for you, I have nothing against it. But for those people that anger really hurts and can destroy, I say embrace your pain and trust in the creative forces, in the creative energy of the universe. Because you are a part of everything that ever was and a part of everything that will ever be, because you exist. That's why you're a part of it.
Right.
And you can access any and everything, because the universe is any and everything. So anything that you want, the answers are inside of you.
Yes.
Great comment.
You can find some outside, but your personal answers,
I don't think you see this
will come from inside of
you. Melvin, here's a comment from Debbie McFadden. She says, Melvin Davis, you are speaking the truth. Your shoulders are strong and steady. Many have climbed.
Yeah. Facts.
Great.
That is true.
Great comment.
Because what we're trying to do, that's why when I go and see a young act, and they might be terrible, I might laugh, but I'm laughing because I know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And I just, I go up and I shake their hand and I hug them. I says, it takes a lot of nerve to put yourself out on Front Street like this.
In first place, yeah.
People don't understand what kind of effort that takes. You standing backstage, I don't get nervous anymore, I'm too old. There were times when I would be extremely anxious and nervous. But once I get out there and get started, then that leaves, because you've got a job to do.
Absolutely.
But this is, anytime you're doing something that's creative and you're being sincere and it's coming from your heart, it's going to be the greatest thing and the worst thing, because you're going to have highs and lows, especially if you're sincere and you're honest with yourself. Now, I know a lot of people that lie to themselves all the time. Oh, I'm the shit. Yeah, this is bad as hell. No, it ain't. You know?
Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
Right.
And then you'll grow. And if you think that you got it, everything that you need, and you're the baddest, well, then that's going to limit your effort.
That's true. That's true. And your humility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody might not feel like what we're talking about right now. But you are really, really in touch with the universal forces of creativity and innovation.
Man, that's good stuff. It's all good, man.
You must humble yourself.
Got to be.
Because see, I wrote a song called "Do You Know You?" And the bridge said, "Solutions don't come from you; they come through." In other words, like, I have a lot of songs that I'm taking credit for writing. I wrote the words down, but I asked for these feelings and these thoughts and these realities.
Okay.
I might come up with a nice title, but then I'll sit down. I won't just write down anything. I'll wait and see for my spirit to tell me, what does that mean?
Yeah.
How deep can you get into it? You know? So I've written a lot of love songs, and like I'd say in the last few years of my life, I write love songs about life.
Okay.
Like I've got a song called Double or Nothing. That's the name of the new CD.
Okay.
I wrote Double or Nothing 50 years ago.
Wow.
And the lyrics, the first verse says, destruction of the people so that the system can survive. To tell you the truth, we're killing everything that keeps us alive. You'll never know what you can do until you try. Lift up your wings and let your spirit fly. Double or Nothing. And that song is more applicable today.
I was thinking the same thing when you started. And you wrote it 50 years ago?
I wrote it 50 years ago.
Wow.
So Melvin, what about the song Chains of Love?
Chains of Love?
Yes. Tell us about that.
Chains of Love I wrote for JJ. I didn't really write it. See, I wrote a lot of songs that a lot of artists recorded.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't write for them most of the time. I wrote it for Melvin Davis, but they kicked my ass singing it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was big enough to accept and recognize. I have had a couple of songs that I wrote and somebody sung the hell out of them, and I went home and cried about it. And see, that was better for me to release my pain like that than to get down,
angry and tear up stuff.
And see, because I released it, I wrote a better song each time.
There you go.
And you were writing
early songs that I wrote. And, Don Davis fell in love with it. It was a funky little groove, and J.J. Barnes waxed it.
Okay. Well, so we have a clip of this with you doing it.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
I get to sing my own songs once in a while, even though it's 20 years later.
All right.
Yeah, it's all good. The lyrics are what matter.
Also, this song was recorded by Mavis Staples and also recorded by the Dirt Bombs, and it was in the award-winning movie Diving Bell and the Butterfly. So this particular song did receive some recognition.
Okay. Good. I think we got it.
Coming up.
Okay.
Melvin Davis and his band. I can't break away. I'm under your spell, babe. I said your motor's working, it's working on me. Your motor's working, and I can't break free. Your motor's working, it's working on me. Your motor's working, and I can't break free. Got the motor working. Got the motor working. Got the motor working. Oh!
The best.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a performance in Detroit that it's called Concert of Colors.
Yes.
Okay.
And the Don was with his band. They usually have many Detroit artists, and everything is free. And it's a good time in Detroit. So it really.
I did it with you guys one time. You.
Yeah.
It was Melvin. I'm sorry, McKinley. Drew's band. Spider.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that whole situation. It's great. I think every city needs to put on a type of concert like that, Concert of Colors. But
I'm glad that Detroit does, because, I like to say that history uncelebrated will soon become history lost. And Detroit is one of the most phenomenal music meccas on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that Motown is our crowning glory.
Right.
But that should not negate or interfere with or in any way discredit the contributions that, like you guys and myself and hundreds of others, have made. It only enhances Motown's glory.
That's true.
Because Motown is Motown, but Motown truly is Detroit. It's not like Barry Gordy. I give them all the credit, but all of that talent, all of that innovation came from the city of Detroit. It's not like Barry brought some people from the moon or something. Those great musicians, those great artists, those great writers, those great producers, all of that came from the city of Detroit. And I give Barry all the credit for being able to mastermind and bring all that to its fullest potential.
Yeah, good words,
but
man.
Now it's time to tell the rest of the story.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and every set of eyes saw something different.
Yeah.
If we're standing side by side, we don't see the same thing because I can't see me and you can't see you.
Melvin, you talk like a songwriter, man. You speak like your words come out in lyricism format,
Well, I try to live it. When you live it, it comes out. Just like we didn't talk about this format, and I hope people are enjoying this because it's bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
But I think that just an open, honest conversation from the people that have lived it and loved it and are still living it
Yeah.
You can't get a better understanding or a better picture of what Detroit is all about without this. You can fix it up and make it all fancy, but the honesty of this conversation that we're having right now, to me,
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
The fans are loving it. In fact, Marion Payne from the UK says, I totally agree with Melvin. You have all had a big influence in my life. You know, so hey, they're feeling you.
Well, when you start talking about the UK, then you're gonna touch my heart, really.
Yeah.
Because, I went to the UK for the first time in 2004.
Okay.
And you know, people have been telling me about it. I've got a pretty good imagination. I expected to have a great time. But it exceeded my expectations so far. I was in tears several times.
Wow.
Because the amazing part about it is that in all my years, I had never reflected on my career. Ever. That sounds crazy, but I never. Each record wasn't a hit, so I'm looking at the next thing I gotta do. I live in the moment.
Still moving.
I wasn't that like, oh yeah, I did this and I did that. It wasn't about that. But when these people, I had to learn some of my own songs again that they wanted me to sing. Because I thought they wanted me to sing "Crawl Before You Walk." No, we want you to sing the old stuff.
Yes.
And then they look and they said, "Oh my God, you've got so many, don't you?" So, I mean, I guess I've had more flops than anybody else in the city. But I learned something about my songs. I had never performed them on stage, and now they're the only ones that I do.
That's great.
So
it's a process.
It revealed my value to me. And I will always be grateful for the UK fans, the Northern Soul fans, for that. Because without them, I don't think I would have ever really recognized that what I've done in my life had value. But for you guys in the UK and all the rest of the European market, because I've been to like 9 countries now, and I've had a great reception in all the countries.
Well,
fantastic.
But the UK is especially welcoming to us.
Yes,
they love, just like she said, you guys have been a big influence in my life. You know, we've seen some people travel from city to city on tour with us. And that's saying something. You can't get that here in the States.
No, you can't. No.
Unless you're the Rolling Stones.
What I realized when I went over there was what we had lost in the United States and in the city of Detroit was the innocence of the music. They had the innocence. I mean, when the gig, they got what they call all-nighters and they have what they call weekenders.
Okay.
The first gig that I did was in Wales at Prestatyn, and it was a weekender. And we arrived, and I'm all excited and everything. I'm checking it all out. Then the next day, people started arriving. They were running.
Running
with coolers in their bags. Couldn't wait to get there. And then they're just spinning records and just dancing. I didn't see one disagreement, one argument. And I'm looking at this, and I'm in tears. And I turned to my son and I said, Brian, why can't we have something like this in my city?
Right.
You know, I'm looking at what they had and I wanted that. So that's why when I came back to Detroit and I retired from the post office, I said, I'm going to do everything that I can to promote the natural energy that caused this phenomenon to become a reality.
Awesome.
And that's what I've been doing ever since. And I thank you guys for allowing me to continue that right here, because that's what we're doing.
Thank you. And speaking of Detroit, I think we've lost, UK and Detroit, we've lost about three of our fellow musicians, entertainers,
our music family.
Our music family. And I'm going to bring up one, Bill Randall.
What an unbelievable guy.
Yes.
I mean, what a you know, like I say, you know, the Northern Soul fans are some of the greatest fans on planet Earth.
Yes.
They are truly, totally dedicated.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's the honesty that they come with that really impresses me the most. Mm-hmm. And to realize that for generations now, they have taken our music and made it a part of their lives.
Yes.
I mean, money can't buy that.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, everybody likes to make a decent living and be successful financially.
Sure.
But if you don't see that side of it, you miss the whole reasoning behind the music. Because I've got a couple of slogans. I've used a couple of them already, but I like the slogan, Northern Soul, more than music. It's a way of life.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
And it is a way of life. We have so much in common when we come together, even though we've never seen each other before.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
We have the music.
Yes.
And the music penetrates it doesn't have anything to do with how much money you've got. It doesn't have anything to do with what color you are. It doesn't have it. It penetrates right to the soul. You can't stop it.
There you go. And
so it's one of the purest forms of communication that we have.
I agree.
It is the soundtrack of life.
Yeah.
Every emotion that you feel in your life, there's
you
a
can
song
feel it in music. Yeah.
You know what?
Your saddest day and your happiest day, and everything in between, there's a song for it.
Speaking of being able to feel something, that's what I felt about Bill Randall. The man was a true soul man.
Yeah.
You know, he
and a super sharp dresser.
Oh my God! It's like he came.
I told him the last time I saw him, I said, Bill, don't go to sleep because you won't have those shoes. We had some blue gaiters on. I wanted those shoes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we lost another one. Brenda Perryman.
Yeah. She was a Detroit treasure. She had a TV show that she did weekly on WGPR. And she was always willing to bring on people who were doing something creative.
Yes.
You know, because Detroit is still one of the most creative cities that I've seen. As a matter of fact, before this Corona's bullshit, we were on a path for this tremendous comeback, and we were right in the middle of it. And I'm sure that it's going to continue. But she was always willing to bring people, entrepreneur people with new businesses or whatever, onto her show.
Yep.
And expose them to her audience. And that's what it's all about.
Right.
She provided opportunities.
Well, Brandon and I had an opportunity, and Thomas, we did a show about a year and a half ago, Brandon.
Man, that's actually been 2.5 years now.
2.5 years ago? Okay, yeah. We came to Detroit.
Three years.
And I fell in love, we fell in love with the lady.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, now.
Yes,
I invited her to my show, and she showed up. And you know, she was a poet.
Yes.
And I would tell her, I said, Brenda, I'm going to do my best, but I'm so old. She had a poem about you're not old. I can't remember the words, but I'm sure if you Google her, I'm sure that poem will be in there. It's an ageless poem. And I just thought that she recited it with such energy and such style.
Yes.
I just told her when she got done, I said, you still got it, David.
Nice.
And the final guy that I'm speaking of, but I think he's in the clip of you singing War that we're going to speak of after this. I think we have a clip of you doing War at the Detroit Concert of Colors.
All right.
What is it? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Good God, what is it? Absolutely nothing. Nothing but a heartbreaker.
That was all.
Just to make, you gotta make this face. You gotta make this face.
Yeah,
when it's just nice groove like that, man.
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, you know, and the gentleman I was speaking of had on the double-breasted suit
with the hat. Sweet Pea always had his hat on.
Yeah. Sweet Pea Atkinson, another great voice. There's Shelly.
Hey, Shelly, we had her and Verdine on last week. Hey, Shelly.
Hey, Shelly. Shelly said,
shout out.
Fire.
I just want to shout out my mom and my sister real fast.
Go ahead.
I was just saying shout out to my mom and my sister Faith. I saw they were on. So I just saying, hey, appreciate my family always supporting me in all my endeavors. They got my back and everything that I do. That's special to me, you know?
Absolutely. Is there a question from anybody before you go, Mel?
Yeah.
While we doing that, just want to remind everybody to circle on over to YouTube, to our Chairman of the Board YouTube page. There it is right there. Like it, subscribe it, share it with your friends, because you will be the first to be notified when there's new content. And you can also catch the replay of this episode and all the previous episodes right over on YouTube.
Yes.
And I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my good friend Rob and Claire Wigley in the UK. Yes. And also Dave Moore. I was supposed to be in Spain this month. Hopefully we will be there next month in Benidorm. Well, rather next year in May in Benidorm. Yeah. And also to Jim and Tina O'Hara in not Spain, but I'll be all right, Scotland.
Okay.
Jim and Tina O'Hara in Scotland. Shout out to you guys. They are tremendous, tremendous soul fans, and I love you guys very much. And to all the fans, to our music family, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank the Chairman of the Board for having me. And I want to remind everybody that we are going through some very tough times now, but we will come out on the other side of this, because there are millions of dedicated, diligent, intelligent, talented people working on it. Yes, don't pay attention to the hype that you hear on TV, because the faithful are still at work and God is still in charge.
Talk.
Absolutely. Yes. Great words. Melvin, where can we find you on social media?
I think you can just come to Melvin Davis Detroit.
There it is.
And,
Detroit Soul Ambassador.
Make sure y'all go over and follow him. Make sure you go over and do that right now, or when you log off, go check him out.
Please do. And you guys continue to do what you're doing, because this is very needed and very necessary.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we continue to stay in touch with and do what we can to nourish the spirits of our wonderful music-loving family.
Absolutely.
God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melvin.
Thank you, guys.
We got to say happy birthday to Joyce.
Oh, yeah.
Joyce.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Also, we want to thank your friend Tony Newton for joining in.
Yeah, shout out to Tony, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've been a big fan of Tony's growing up as well, you know. So, hey, man, so thank you for coming on. And like you said, you want everybody to stay smart, stay safe with this virus thing going out. And all your Northern Soul friends, ours as well, and fans, we'll see y'all next year.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. So is it a wrap, or what? We out of here?
I think we out, unless you got something else.
Nah, I think we covered everything, man.
Yeah.
Say what, Brandon? I'm sorry.
We didn't really get too many questions from the audience. I think we covered all the questions at the comments section. So
yeah, I think they gave a lot of comments.
Yeah, we'll jump back on and say hi to you guys. let's see. I think I saw. Remember seeing Lisa Ryan, Lisa Govan, Linda Moneymaker. So many names. But we thank you all for tuning in every week, man, and supporting us in our endeavor. As we all get through this quarantine period, and hopefully soon, once things calm down a little bit, we'll be able to, rekindle and get out there and play some music and see all of our friends. Thanks again to the wonderful, brilliant, legendary Mr. Melvin Davis, man. Thank you. I really enjoyed your words, man. Really
enjoyed. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. Pleasure.
Thank you for joining us.